application for this evening?
Webster's Solar Garden, located at 750 Phillips Road. The applicant, Katie Socia of Montanti Solar Development, is requesting final site plan approval associated with a 6.63 MW solar generated facility across 20 acres of a 120-acre lot owned by the Xerox Corporation, located in an industrial district under sections 155-5D, 269-10, and 350-22 of the Code of the Town of Webster.
You guys want to go ahead and add it up?
Good evening. Happy New Year. Thank you for having me here today. We have a project team here representing the Webster Solar Gardens project. I know you've all met us before, but just a quick reintroduction. I'm Katie Socia. We've got Kim Nason from Phillips Lytle, Marcus Lathrop representing Xerox, and Janice Suze on behalf of Haley and Aldrich. We're here today to review updates to the project and site plan that were implemented as part of the feedback from the preliminary site plan approval meeting in November, and to request final site plan approval for the project, as well as a referral to the town board for an industrial use permit for this application. I'd like to review the conditions addressed in the updated plans and submission. If you wouldn't mind going to the next slide. Thank you. The project is to comply with the 2025 Fire Code, a new asphalt cap to be laid at a minimum of 1.5 inches, bedrock trenches to be protected from the ballasted footers, limited limits of disturbance and clearing acreages to be shown on plan set, a geotech report for the C&D landfill, access road and gate reconfiguration, and then other additional conditions were listed as well, but I'd like to go through the ones that were addressed in our actual submission. Addressing the 4 points that were conditions previously implemented by the board, on page G100, 2025 Fire Code is listed there. And further detailed implementation of this fire code will be submitted with the electrical plan set when we actually go for our building and electrical permits for this project. On page C200, limits of disturbance are listed, as well as limits of tree clearing. And page C203 shows ballast infield adjustment note, as well as a commitment to repave and add that 1.5 inches of asphalt. We were also asked to submit geotechnical results for the C&D landfill. The geotechnical results showed that the project is well under allowable limits, and I'll go through the actual methodology that was used to get these results. A geotech investigation was determined to conduct the viability of installing the weighted system on the C&D landfill. The methodology was first reviewed and previewed with DEC before we even did the testing. The C&D landfill cap consists of approximately 6 inches of topsoil overlaying 18 inches of low permeability soil for a total cap of 24 inches or 2 feet. A steel plate was placed directly on the cover surface in 3 different areas after clearing the vegetation from those areas, and special equipment used a dial indicator to incrementally apply pressure or load to a maximum applied load of 2,000 pounds per square foot. According to our racking manufacturer, 0.5 inches is the allowable amount of settlement of racking the racking system will design, and this shows that the limits are far below that as well. I just want to make a note, even though this was tested at 2,000 pounds per square foot, the actual ballasted and total equipment sitting on the C&D landfill will only be 450 pounds per square foot, and temporary loads of up to 650 pounds square foot will be implemented during actual construction for construction equipment and things like that. So with 2,000 pounds, it's approximately 3 times more than the heaviest load predicted on the site. And even with these additional loads, the results showed that the weights are still well under that allowable differential settlement at a 2.2 times and 1.3 times respectively. In addition, prior to conducting this testing, an assessment of the actual landfill cover cap system itself was also done to ensure its integrity. If you wouldn't mind flipping to the next slide, thank you. So in short, the report showed that the landfill cover is still intact and there are no concerns with the weighted system that we've proposed. Again, there's approximately 24 total inches of cover and 5 test pits were hand excavated to that total of 24 inches below surface. They did find that topsoil layer of 6 inches at each test pit, and they also collected samples at that 6-inch mark and then again at that 24-inch mark as well, and sent them in for grain size analysis. And based on that analysis, the cover soil material is consistent with the target specification that was DEC, the DEC approved design. And so the report showed that there were no concerns of integrity to the cap. And then just a reminder of what the system will actually look like and how it's weighted and things like that. Just have the geoballasted system put up on there. You can go to the next slide. And then the updated access road. So there was some discussion about just fire access and making sure that, this was the best configuration. Based on that feedback, we've updated the fire access road to bring the gate a little bit closer so that the turnaround is inside the gate for that fire and able to access that major equipment right outside the turnoff there. Additional conditions that we, the applicant, agree to as part of the conditions that were implemented at the last meeting. DEC approval is required to be submitted before building permits and electrical permits will be achieved. Erosion settlement practices will need to be evaluated in no soil disturbance areas. And any deviation from the racking system that we've discussed here to date would require a complete redo on all of the geotechnical analysis. So we're very committed to maintaining that ballasted system that we've reviewed here with you guys all along the way. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions I can, or perhaps members of my team can, if any of the board has any.
Actually, you did address our concerns at preliminary approval, so that was good.
Great.
Now, is that all included in your drawings, final paperwork?
Correct. Yep.
So
We
it
would
is-
be requesting final site plan approval today, as well as that recommendation for the
It's
IU.
all based on this information.
Correct. Yes.
All right, let's see, anybody wants to come up with something? Do you have any other thoughts, concerns on this?
Yeah, so one of my some
Go
questions.
ahead.
So some of the first questions I had is you just indicated in your presentation a couple of drawing sets. Was that submitted to the town for review?
Drawings?
The revised drawing sets that you were just showing? Because I
The
only have 2 pages here. I didn't have any of the other.
An entire civil plan set, was submitted to
Was
the
submitted?
town.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, a full, I think it was like a 10-page full plan set.
Okay.
There are 3 copies submitted, and then we have digital copies that were submitted as well.
Okay, I just want to make sure the engineering department
Yep.
had a chance to look at it. One of the concerns I have is, within the solar array footprint, you have vegetation, you have existing trees. Is the intention just to cut the trees to the trunk and leave the trunks in place? Or were you looking to remove the trunks as well as part of your construction?
We want to limit any soil disturbance across the entire site. So our goal is to cut flush to the ground as far as we can.
Okay.
So it'll be like hand felling a lot of trees, to be honest with you.
Was that in your drawing set notes that is your intention?
I'm not, I know we have like a schedule
Yeah.
and the tree removal was, but I don't know if a detail about how it's being done is in there, and I'm happy to add that, no problem.
Yeah, I would like to have it added in to make sure there's no soil disturbance.
For sure.
As part of that area. Also, if you could add an area indicating the clearing area that you're proposing as part of the project, as in what is your tree clearing area, vegetation clearing area as part of the project that you need to do.
Sure. That the acreage limits are you talking
Mhm.
about? That is addressed on several pages of the set. I believe. Let me just get up my notes real quick so I don't give you the wrong numbers. But limits of total disturbance is 17.5 acres and limits of tree clearing is 15.1 acres. There's some of the areas of the site that don't have any trees on them, so that's why the numbers are different there.
And are these mature trees or just, because it is a landfill, I'm wondering.
So the site didn't have any trees on it in the 90s. So all the trees there are like relatively, some of them are bigger, but the majority of them are considered, smaller.
Okay. And again, I apologize if this is on your notes, it's just I don't have that set. Are you indicating the monitoring wells to be protected?
Yes, we have
Staked
20-foot
out, survey staked out and protected during construction?
Yeah, we have 20-foot setbacks and then roped off as well during construction.
For those 24-inch cover, the test pits that were performed on site, are you indicating the test pit locations on your drawing set?
I don't think we did. It's in the geotech report that was submitted, which the engineer also has, but we can overlay that if that's a request of the engineer.
The test pits were within the project footprint?
Yeah,
The
they were
fence
within the
area?
C&D landfill footprint itself, and that's included in the C&D geotech cover assessment.
Okay. In the actual drawing sets, for any areas that you are doing work that is within a wetland, are you using timber mats?
Are you able to speak on that? There's two areas kind of around the asphalt cap that are wetlands created because of that impermeable surface. I honestly can't remember. We had submitted our nationwide or our notification to Army Corps, and I believe that was included. But I can certainly get you a copy of that.
I'm just asking if you could add a note
Sure,
in your drawing sets that timber mats will be used in wetland areas
sure.
during construction.
Yep.
So you did have a note in the updated drawing set within that infiltration area for the testing, the seepage testing locations, that you will not be putting any ballasts on top of that system.
Correct.
I had a note here. For your fences, are the fences ballasted?
Fences ballasted around the entirety of the site. The one area that remains in question is the C&D landfill where there is some topography. We'd
Yeah.
like to work with DEC on how they'd like us to handle that specifically in that area.
Okay.
It would just be a very small area.
Is it possible to add a note on your drawing set, Josh, if you can zoom to the left area where the purple, I wish I had a pointer right now to zoom in. So where it's RW1 for the monitoring well, RW1.
Yep.
So right there, we have two collection trenches, and then your pink line is your fence. If you can do call outs there that no ballasts are to be for the fencing to be placed on that system there, so
Sure.
they can space the fencing.
Yep. So
not
there's
to
no
place
weight on it. Yep.
top of that.
Yep. We can do that.
Has the revised access with the turnaround been looked at by the fire marshal?
It was submitted to the town. I didn't specifically call the fire marshal to ask if he had any review comments on it. So
Okay.
I'm not sure if he's looked at it individually.
Okay.
I can speak to that. It has been reviewed by the fire marshal and is found to be acceptable.
Okay. All right. I think those are all of my questions, unless somebody else is going to go through these ones that were circulated to us about the asphalt.
Yeah, I think there was a few things that actually, you want to address those, Frank?
Yeah, there's just a few things about the asphalt that I think you touched on, but I just want some clarity with regards to the geotech report. You're gonna put in the additional 1.5 inches on the cap. Did the geotech report get updated with regards to that additional layer that's going to be put on the cap?
We didn't update it
Okay.
with those results.
All right. Do you know if that's going to change anything with regards to the actual solar panels that are on the cap with that additional 1.5 inches?
In terms of settlement
Yeah,
between
settlement.
on and off the cap?
Yes.
So the racking system that we have is really nice in that we can take breaks quite often in it. It's not like a continuous arm where there are no breaks. So we can put breaks in between if there is a deviation in topography there. So that'll be an infield adjustment as we haven't added that 1.5 asphalt cap yet and we still need to clear the area. But we can certainly account for that easily.
Can you update the geotech report with that 1.5 included?
I think,
don't
Katie,
know
the question, Katie, is will the 1.5 inches overlay contribute to any impact on the cap because of that weight added on to the cover?
Yeah. Yeah, would you like to, I'm just not the geotech group.
Yeah, we'll just have to review that with our engineer and we can address that and get back to you.
And then the 1.5 cap, so that's going to be added. That's not, you're not going to mill and then put it, it's just going to be right over the top. All right. You don't think putting that 1.5 will compromise the underground at all? Or can we have that as part of the geotech report? If there's going to be any compromise with regards to putting that asphalt right over the top?
Yeah, I'm not a geotech analyst, so I can't answer that question then in the moment here. So we need to take that question back to the experts.
All
And there's a lot of calculations and math run behind the scenes. So I think it would take a couple of days to get that answer anyways.
But you're not opposed to us putting that in the final, as a condition of the final site-up?
I guess my only question would be, when we did the geotech analysis as is, we actually used, it's the asphalt cap is there, and we used a system to push down and basically do calculations. If it's not there, then it's difficult, obviously, to redo. I don't know if it's easy enough to say, hey, it's going to be X amount of weight added on. Can you add that into your math? I just don't know the answer to that. If it's possible, we're happy to do that. I just don't know if that's, chicken egg situation. I don't know, to be honest with you.
That's fair.
And then I add that reading the geotech report, that 1.5 inches wasn't needed. It met specifications the way it is right now. That was a request that was made at the last planning meeting to add that to try to address some concerns about issues moving forward. So it's really that 1.5 isn't needed per the geotech report.
Just for the record, what was your name again? I'm sorry.
Oh, Marcus Lathrop. I'm with Xerox.
And then, anybody else have any questions? Because I just have some questions about the bond. Just with regards to the bond. So we had some questions early on at the preliminary, when we got preliminary approval with regards to the decommission bond. And I went through your decommission plan. Your bond it's not listing a certain company. Are you guys what company do you use? Are you picking a company after?
Yeah, we need to, I guess, get approval on the amounts and stuff for us to actually have the bonds issued. But we usually work with Hoffman and Associates. That's who we've done our bonds with in the past. But there isn't a bond to show for yet until it's approved. But I did put in the bond paperwork of basically what we've used in the form paperwork that we would insert information to if it were to be approved.
Okay. And obviously I saw the bond. It's going to be a bond of the value of the project. Hoffman and Associates, is that, do you know what grade of a
I think
company
they're
that
like an
is?
A or an A+. I don't know off the top of my head.
So if we put in
A rating or better.
A-rated or higher,
Yeah.
you'd be okay with that?
Yep.
I think that's all the
You
questions.
good with that? All right, anybody else? I think we've gone in pretty deep into this thing. Drazen, this is your line anyway, so thanks for your help on that. Um, David, do you have any concerns or?
No.
We did give it a preliminary approval, and we did have, and you did address, I copied them all out, I wanted to see what you did with it. You did address them all, so that we're good with that. So you've got that stuff showing on your final drawings, all that stuff, that's good. Mark, do you have any concerns?
No.
Well, then we're gonna, the intent would be to move forward for final approval. Jonathan, you okay with that?
Mhm.
Move forward with it? Mark, you all right with it?
Yes, I am.
All right, as we did with the preliminary, I'll start one off. We need some help as we go along because we entered some few different things here. So I'll make a motion that we grant a final approval to, what is the actual name? The Webster Solar Garden Project, we'll call it. And we'll make that subject to the generic things, subject to the project review committee comments, subject to Parks and Rec fees. I don't know if there's any of that to be done, but subject to all the preliminary approval conditions, subject to all applicable governmental fees, subject to Department of Public Works approvals, and conditions, well, significant construction will occur within 1 year. I'm sure you're good with that. As determined by this board to expire on January 6th, 2027. The conditions of preliminary and final approval would be depicted on the cover sheet of your final design drawing. So whatever preliminary and final approvals, that needs to go on the cover sheet of those drawings, okay? Let's see. Letter of credit, engineer. The engineer for the proposed project provide a letter of certification that all the proposed work was completed as per planning board resolution. A final approval before a certificate of occupancy would be issued. Letter of credit to the town for the project shall include the fee for the engineer's final certification and inspection of the site, and all stormwater and all downstream subject to resolution. Make this subject to resolution of final approved minutes. And this is, that would be it for there. Few things we wanted to add on was, the applicant shall enter into a host community agreement with the town of Webster, town board, to their satisfaction. That's something you guys have been working on. It's out of our area. We don't even know what took place with it all, but that's up to the town board to work with. Decommissioning bond, that's going to be determined by the town board, whatever that would be.
With a grade A or higher.
Yeah, okay. All right, grade A or higher. Okay, yeah, good, thanks. Let's see. No permits issued until prior to any permits being issued, DEC needs to issue that letter that we've spoken in the past to the town. Johnson, you mentioned timber mats in the
Yeah,
construction area?
the three that I have is,
So put whatever you had, I know you had a few different things.
yeah, so timber matting to be used in wetland delineated areas during construction. Vegetation and tree cutting is only allowed to be done to the surface level, and, you know, no soil disturbance with the tree clearing. So it needs to be flush to the ground. Drawing notes to call out and be added to protect the ballasted trench and bedrock system, both for fencing and solar array ballasted installation. Those were my three.
That it?
Mhm.
Okay, that's it, okay. That would be a motion for final approval. Need a second.
Second.
Okay, I'll call roll.
Mr. Kashani.
Aye.
Mr. Giardina.
Aye.
Mr. Malta.
Aye.
Mr. Gassick.
Aye.
Mrs. Maltman.
Aye.
Okay, I think we need to make a motion to send this application to the town board for an industrial use permit also. So I'll make a motion that
So-
we,
Can I just clarify that real quick?
I'm
Sorry to
sorry?
interrupt.
So actually, procedurally, it's been referred to this board by the town board. So what we'd be looking for tonight, this is in our letter as well, is a recommendation on the IUP to the town board. So ultimately, the town board issues the IUP, but they have the ability to ask you all, as part of the site plan process, to issue a recommendation on the industrial use permit.
Okay, so a motion recommending the town board grant you your
Yes.
permit, your
Industrial use permit.
industrial use permit.
Correct.
Okay, all right, that being a motion, need a second?
Second.
Have a second?
Okay, Mr. Kashani?
Aye.
Mr. Malta?
Aye.
Mr. Giardina?
Aye.
Mr. Gassick?
Aye.
Mrs. Maltman?
Aye.